One of your Arizona Diamondbacks is up for an award. And we've been so busy on other stuff, we haven't even had time to celebrate him. Until now.
You are Locked On Diamondbacks, your daily Arizona Diamondbacks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast, your team every day. Baseball is my religion, the Diamondbacks are my denomination, and you are my congregation. So settle down in your pew of choice and enjoy today's message. I do have another weekly podcast that I do every Tuesday night live. It's with my co-host Cheese, and we are the 643 and Out guys. And you can find us both on X and YouTube at the 643 and Out pod. Ladies and gentlemen, by listening now, all of you are certified members of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is completely free on all podcast platforms. You can also be part of the show by joining us on YouTube. Simply search Locked On Diamondbacks and leave your comments and your criticisms. Either one are fine. I have a passion for this game and this team. And I know if you are listening right now, you have that same passion. So whether you're a first time or a long time, I thank you for making Locked On Diamondbacks your first listen of the day. On today's show, we'll look at which player for the Diamondbacks was just nominated for an award. We'll learn more about the award, and we'll let you know if he has a chance to actually win it. In segment number 2, we're going to look at where our Diamondbacks rank position by position when it comes to WAR, wins above replacement, and we'll explain that stat to you. Then in the final segment, we look ahead to the Rockies series and what we can expect from our Diamondbacks at home versus the worst team in the West. But first, today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. All right, guys, segment number 1. Now, I saw this a couple days ago, but knew the award wasn't given out until mid-November. But I did want to make sure and recognize Geraldo Perdomo for being the Diamondbacks representative of the Heart and Hustle Award. Now, what's the Heart and Hustle Award? It's an annual award that is presented by Major League Baseball Players Alum Association, or a lot of times they abbreviate it with MLBPAA. And it is the only award given by former Major League Baseball players. Here's the quote, right? When they look at how they're doing this and what the criteria is that they use, this is the quote right from MLB's website. The person that they nominate exemplifies a true passion for the game and who best embodies the values, spirit, and tradition of the game, close quote. Now, Perdomo was chosen by a committee of alum to represent the Diamondbacks. So basically former players that used to be Diamondbacks, and now they put those guys together. Those guys look, watch, read things about the team, and then they choose who the representative is going to be. And there is a committee like that for each and every team. That committee chooses one player. So right now we're in the 30-player stage, and Geraldo Perdomo is one of those players. When they asked the committee members, they said this: he was selected for his fiery intensity, his upbeat personality, and ability to come through in high leverage situations, making him a leader on and off the field. His relentless approach to at-bats and ability to grind out through tough situations are also noted as key factors. And I thought that was pretty interesting to use that as the criteria and then also say it the way they did and talk about Geraldo Perdomo in that manner. Uh, Fantastic. And I love the fact that he is being done this way. Perdomo's not my favorite player on this team, but I love the yellow. I love the fire. And I love the way he does keep it light in the clubhouse, but yet not light on the field. Except for a couple things, right? I want to bring up something that happened in the A's series. There was a play, if you remember, where the ball ricocheted off of Marte, went over to Perdomo. He got it. Lawrence Butler was going from first to second. He slid in. Perdomo dove for the bag with the ball in his glove. Bang, bang play. Perdomo got there just a fraction of a second before Butler did. And then if you remember, they replayed it, they reviewed it, and the call stood because they called Butler out at first. Then the A's wanted to look at it, and then they upheld that play. And if you remember correctly, Perdomo was making fun of him, right? He was, I got you, and all this. That's one of those things that I guess as the old school get off my lawn guy, man, while the game's going on, don't be messing with the other players, right? You're there to win. I just, I don't like the big bat flips. I don't like the, turn into your dugout and pounding your chest and all. Man, hit the home run, go around the bases, go back in the dugout. If you want to do a little celebration kind of thing, do it in the dugout where you're not showing up the other team. Same thing with that, right? If you get a guy out at second base, don't show up the guy at second base. Don't point to him, laugh at him, make fun of him. I don't know. It's just not my thing. Now, a lot of you will say, well, he's allowed to express himself. And I get that. Personally, I just don't care for it. Let me know if you're with me or against me. Put in the comments and let me know. Now, Perdomo is one of those individuals who has a laugh and he keeps the clubhouse light, but he's also the guy that gets hyper-focused usually when he's on the field. So I will certainly give him those two qualities. And this year, when he's been on the field, it has been a career year for him. In fact, he's batting a slash line of 278, 377, 424 with an 801 on base plus slug, which is really good. He's already registered career highs in both home runs with 11 and RBIs RBIs he has 77. So 11 homers, career high, RBIs 77, also career high. And I found this stat out as well. He leads the National League in sacrifice flies with 10, leads the entire National League. He's batting a whopping 342 with runners in scoring position. And in high leverage situations, he's hitting 349 with a 1.014 on base plus slug when he's in those high leverage situations. So runners in scoring position, 342. High leverage situations, 349. The two times that you really want your guy to hit a ton. And Perdomo's doing it. We talked about yesterday how we construct a lineup and everything else. And today, minus the hat for a day, we're going to go ahead and talk about some other stuff. Different glasses, too, if you didn't notice. But that's where Geraldo Perdomo is. That's what he's done this season. Now, do I think that he can actually win this award? No, probably not. He's not a big enough name. The Diamondbacks are not a big enough team nationally because it's now voted on by the players and by former players, and also it will be voted on by the fans. You can go vote on it right now. You can go to the Arizona Diamondbacks website and vote right there. So maybe we can sway the voting. So when you're done with this podcast, maybe you want to go over to MLB.com and vote for Geraldo Perdomo for the Heart and Hustle Award of the year. Now, we're going to talk to you about Gametime. All right, guys, Gametime is the right time. And there it is at the bottom of your screen. Love that mint green color that Gametime uses. So we've all been there, right? Logging on early, just waiting for those concert tickets to go on sale. And then you've waited forever. You finally get to the spot where you can buy the tickets, only to have your spot disappear. And man, if you're going to a show, you shouldn't be, like the show that you're just dying to see, right? The one concert that you really want to make sure you get to. That shouldn't happen to you. Live music should be about making memories, not dealing with stressful ticket shopping. And that's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes concert tickets faster and easier than ever. And prices actually drop as it gets closer to showtime. And you can save up to 60% with their killer last-minute deals. With Gameday, the price you see is the price you pay. Man, and that's what I love about it. I can't stand to get on a website, and then you look at it, you're like, okay, that's how much my ticket's going to be. You're click, click, click. All right, click there, good. And then the next thing before checkout is, oh, by the way, you're going to have a convenience fee, and you're going to have a site fee, and you're going to have, it's like, oh my gosh, now my tickets have just increased by $30 a piece. Not with Gametime. The price you see is the price you pay. So take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply, but do it now. All right, everybody, we're getting ready to hop into segment number 2. Segment number 2 is going to be a little interesting here as we talk about the WAR stats with different players. I got stuff all around me. You'll see me move. I don't want the computer screens to go away, so I got to touch them every once in a while. You guys know how that is. I'm sure most of you have a nice setup at your house where you're looking at different computers for different things, and I'm certainly doing the same thing. So I love stats, and I love just diving into them. And one of those stats that I love is WAR. It's wins above replacement. So we're getting ready to look at multiple players and see where they rank. And then, actually first, we'll explain what that stat means. WAR. YouTube's a great tool for you to get everything you need about your Arizona Diamondbacks. But in order to do that, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the bell for notifications so that you never miss a video, and you are never not informed. I'm also very active on X. I do posts, reposts, poll questions, and so much more. You can get me at LO_Diamondbacks. All right, so in a nutshell, WAR stands for wins above replacement. I think most of us know that. It's a sabermetric statistic that attempts to qualify a player's total contribution, that's why I like it, to their team in terms of wins. WAR essentially measures how many more wins a player contributes to their team compared to a kind of hypothetical replacement level player that would be just even keel. And that player would be just readily found anywhere. On the open market, you pull them up from AAA, something like that. So we're looking at what a player can do above and beyond that replacement player. That's just leveled off. That's just average. That's 500. And if we dive a little deeper, and why I personally love this stat so much, WAR considers a bunch of various aspects of a player's performance. And those aspects that they consider include the following 4 things. Their offensive contribution. In other words, the batting runs and how many runs a player adds with their hitting. and their base running, how many runs they add with their ability to advance on the base paths. The second one is defensive contribution, how many runs they actually save or prevent through their fielding ability, or pitching for pitchers. Same thing, defensive contribution. Base running is the third thing, and it's their contribution to scoring runs through base running. And lastly, it's positional adjustments, and adjustments based on the difficulty of playing different positions. The last one is why I like to look at WAR position by position, because that positional adjustment really comes into play. Now, we can't really look at first or third base because, to be fair, since we just changed people at those positions, but we can look at the other infield spots, and we're going to look at shortstop first. And I got a thing from someone, a comment, and I love you guys' comments. Please keep them coming. Says, hey, if you're going to do a segment with a bunch of stats, show the stats at the bottom of the screen. Your wish is my command. There you go. Shortstop WAR. And there are the top 10 people that you're looking at right there. So we can look at the rest of the infield, and that's what we're going to do right now, right? As far as the pitchers go, the Diamondbacks don't have anyone in the top 10 pitching-wise. That's, of course, an infield position. And the same goes for DH. The Diamondbacks don't have anybody in the top 10 when it comes to DH. Now, in right field, I didn't put that stat up there, but I've got your shortstop, and I'll give you the second baseman here in a moment. In right field, Corbin Carroll has a very respectable 4.3, which places him third in Major League Baseball. The only two people that are ahead of him are Tatis at 4.5, so just 0.2 points ahead of him, and then Judge is blowing everybody out of the water because of his offensive production at 7.0. Now, I will tell you this, I was somewhat shocked to learn that Alek Thomas was not in the top 10 for center fielders. I really thought he would be, but on the same token, I wasn't surprised to learn that Lourdes Gurriel was not in the top 10 for left fielders. That is by far our weakest position, not only in the infield, but in the outfield as well. That's why I like Lourdes more as the DH instead of actually playing him in the field. So you're seeing it right now. There it comes across the bottom of the screen. Shortstop WAR 10 is Xavier Bogaerts with a 3.0. Number 9 is Bo Bichette, 3.1. 8 is Gunnar Henderson, 3.4. 7 is Francisco Lindor with a 3.4 as well. Then 6 is Mason Wynn. I'm trying to keep up with that, 3.6. Ellie De La Cruz is at number 5 with a 4.0. There's our guy, Geraldo Perdomo. He is right there at number 3, and I don't think I put his number on there, so let me go back to it to make sure we get it. Geraldo Perdomo is at 4.1. I'm almost positive I forgot to put that number in there. Trey Turner is at 4.3, and he is at number 3. Jeremy Pena, number 2, at 4.3, and at number 1 for shortstop, no real big surprise, Bobby Witt Jr. at 5.3. So let's give you the second baseman as well. Here we go. Second baseman, as far as WAR goes, and we've already defined WAR, wins above replacement. We got really fancy with it, and I told you a lot of stuff about it. I love diving into these stats, and that's what we're going to do here for just a few more minutes in segment number 2 as we go through WAR second baseman. There's number 10, Jake Cronenworth of the Padres, 1.8. Marcus Semien of the Rangers, he is also at 1.8. Xavier Edwards surprised me a little. Florida Marlins, 2.0. 7 is Bryce Terang from the Brewers at 2.0 as well. Then Brandon Donovan at 2.4 from the Cardinals. Dubon is at 2.5. He is from the Astros. Gleyber Torres is at number 3. And Gleyber Torres is with the Detroit Tigers. Then Jazz Chisholm, 2.8. Nico Horner, 3.1. And the number 1 guy as far as wins above replacement in the entire MLB, our guy, Ketel Marte, and he is a full half a point higher than second. Nico Horner is at 3.1, and Ketel Marte, number 1, at 3.6. I thought that was pretty neat to be able to go through, and I love WAR. Shoot me over something with it and let me know. Do you like WAR? Is that a stat that you really get into? Because I really do. So let me know what you guys think. We'll continue to do some stats every once in a while. We'll throw those in here because I love them, and baseball is just full of them. Now, let's talk about prize picks. All right, guys, we're going to do a prize pick promo here. You should go over to PrizePicks, and let me tell you why. This episode is brought to you in part by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that allows and lets you turn your football predictions into actual real rewards. Preseason is really heating up, and college football isn't far behind. It's the perfect time to lock in your season-long more or less picks for the 2025 football season, all before week 1 even kicks off. Whether you've got your eye on a big-name quarterback, a breakout running back, it doesn't matter. PrizePicks makes it easy to get in the game. Now, personally, I like PrizePicks because it gives me that postseason deal, right? It allows me to get a feel for how the rest of the season is going to go. It's like a fun kind of warm-up exercise for me. And that's really what I like about PrizePicks, and allows me to be able to do that. So as far as that part goes, the flex play option's pretty cool too. It's a total game changer. Even when one of your picks misses, you still can double your money. Now, get on the site and look at it. You'll see what I mean. The flex play is pretty cool. So download PrizePicks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB, and here's the special offer. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. So $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB at PrizePicks today. Go to PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, guys, here we go. Segment number 3. And then we'll have to bid each other adieu because that's all we're going to do for today. But, how do you motivate a young team? Because that's what these Diamondbacks are. And I don't think you do it with money. I think you do it with simply obtainable goals. But then when you reach those goals, you don't ever lose what you've achieved. I'll explain to you what I mean in a minute about this realistic goal that I'm referring to. When we're done here, do you want a broader look at the game of baseball? If so, check out Locked On MLB Game Night. They watch every game so that you don't have to. And you don't just have to watch us here on YouTube. Put us on in the car while you're grilling outside or mowing the grass. Spotify, Apple, iTunes, and XM Satellite Radio are all there for you. And just like everything else, they're all free. If the Diamondbacks can sweep the Rockies in this series, they will have a .500 record at home. Yeah, I like that. That's something positive to build off of. It could be quite possibly the thing that sparks them and gets them going. But it's also a goal that once you achieve it, you should never lose it in any part of the season. That's what I was talking about earlier. Once you get to .500 at home, don't let that dip back down, no matter who the opponents are. Keep pushing and keep striving to make sure that you stay .500 or above at home. Now, according to Arizona Diamondbacks stats and info, you can go to Twitter and get them. The Diamondbacks are 152-90 versus the Rockies all time, and 29-15 in the 2020s. And tonight, left-handed pitcher Austin Gomber is actually taking the mound. He has a 6.53 ERA against the Snakes. And if that's not bad enough, Marte's 10 for 26 against him with 6 extra base hits, 8 RBIs, and 2 walks. And Corbin Carroll is even better. He is 6 for 13 off of him with 3 extra base hits and 3 RBIs as well. Now, Gallen is pitching for us tonight. He is the staff ace. So you've got to be able to win this game tonight. You have to start this series off the right way. And it is with Gallen, our ace. All of those stats were brought to you again by Arizona Diamondbacks Stat and Info. It's a great Twitter site for you right there. Please hop on there. That's at DBacks Stats Info. At DBacks Stats Info. So Friday, that's tonight. You got Gallen, who's 8-12, 5.48 ERA against Austin Gomber. He's the left-handed pitcher. Sometimes we have trouble with lefties, but he's 0-5 with a 6.18 ERA. On Saturday, you'll have Eduardo Rodriguez, 4-7 with a 5.53 ERA for the Diamondbacks versus Bradley Blaylock. He's a right-hander. He is 1-3 with a very inflated 7.68 ERA for the Rockies. And then in the wrap-up on Sunday, August the 10th, Brandon Pfaadt, who is 11-7 with a 5.02 ERA for the Diamondbacks, will go up against a guy named Tanner Gordon for the Rockies. Must be his first start. Couldn't even find any stats on him besides minor league stats. Last thing I'm going to do here for you today, I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about this as well, because I saw this and was like, oh, I better tell my fans. Friday is 6:40 tonight. Tomorrow's a special time. It's at 5:10. So if you're going to the Saturday game, make sure you know and understand it's a little earlier, the 5:10 game on Saturday. And then Sunday, it'll be a 1:10 start. Well, this wraps up our show. Thank you very much for being here as always. I appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Tell a friend, share the episode of the Locked On Diamondbacks podcast on your social media accounts, and be sure to follow me on mine at XLO_Diamondbacks for more great content. Next week, we're going to be looking at a bunch of different things that go back out on the road. We'll see what happens this weekend with our Diamondbacks, and then we'll react to whatever else is going on. And for your next listen, click on Locked On MLB as Sully gives you a daily look at the biggest stories in the league. And of course, as always, tune in so you can stay locked on.